Welcome to Dropping In, a podcast of storytelling and interviews with your host, Winter Olympian Mercedes Nicoll.
Thank you so much for dropping in today. This is Series 12. Now, I'm back with Team Canada athletes heading to Paris. I'm so excited to hear their heartwarming triumphs, nail-biting challenges. I mean, are you ready for another Olympic journey? Because our guests are. From July 26th to August 11th, 2024, all eyes will be on Paris as athletes from around the world gather to compete at the long-awaited non-COVID 2024 Olympics. After a roller coaster ride for our first couple athletes in this series who did compete at the Tokyo 2020/2021. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to the bottom of that. What do we call that? Olympics 2020 or 2021? I don't know. I will have some amazing guests join me on this series. So let me get to this episode. This is episode 102, and it is Monday, March 11th, 2024, when we are recording. So let me introduce you to this guest who is no stranger to dropping in, having dropped in on episode 33. Now, we had a lot of giggles, and we learned a lot about race walking and bodily functions. He's an Olympic medalist now, and he has represented Team Canada at 2 Olympics in 2016 and the Tokyo Games. I think that's just what I'm going to call them, the Tokyo Games, because it's confusing. 2020, 2021, they happened in 2021, but they were the 2020 Olympics. COVID. Interestingly enough, from what we learned in episode 33, the discipline that he raced in Tokyo, where he walked 50 kilometers into a bronze medal, will not be in the Paris Olympics. So he's had to shift his gears, going for the 20-kilometer race up for Paris. Now, don't worry, he's been on fire lately, walking into 4th place at both the 2023 World Championships 20 kilometers and 35-kilometer race walk, as well as breaking records. I cannot wait to talk about that. Though the 50-kilometer is out, there will be a 42.2, seems very specific, 42.2-kilometer mixed team race walking event making its debut in Paris. This guest is and always will be a Pan-American gold medalist, World Athletics world champion bronze medalist, 2-time world race walk team champion silver medalist. I cannot say enough for how much he gives back to the sport, raising funds for Kids Sport Canada. I can't wait to hear what else he's been up to, because I really haven't talked to him in a while. He's been busy training, and I know how that is as an athlete. Let's drop in with this son, friend, race walker, Olympic medalist, 2-time Olympian, and all-around good guy, Evan Dunfee. How are
Mercedes.
you?
I'm great. How are you? So nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see you too. Is it weird to hear all those things? I mean, it's been a while since we chatted, and now you have a medal, and you've done so many more things.
It is. It is strange. It always is strange. But to your point about what do we call it? So my Tokyo medal says Tokyo 2020 on it, and it happened in 2021, and I raced in Sapporo. So really, the whole thing is a lie.
The whole thing's just a sham. Yeah, because you were up north. Did they change that on you?
Yeah, they moved. So they moved the marathons and the race walks up to Sapporo because they were worried about how hot it was going to be. It ended up being just as hot in Sapporo as it was in Tokyo. But yeah, that was just that happened. 6 months out of the Olympics.
Mellow.
You just learn to roll with the punches, and
it's true.
The women's marathon in Tokyo got their race time changed the night before the race. So having our location changed months before is an easy adjustment compared to that.
Right. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. I want to get more into that, but obviously we have to start with the rapid fire that is never rapid, but people kind of know you already. So it might be rapid this time. Are you ready?
Let's give it a go.
Okay. Number 1, favorite race walk memory.
Nothing beats coming across the line in Tokyo. Just chasing down that bronze medal on that last kilometer and moving into third place with 150 meters to go. It's a pretty great feeling. And more so than that, having the video of all my friends and family back home watching. I think that is as beautiful a memory as the memory of me actually crossing the line.
Oh, I love that. It is cool. Yeah, I love that. Okay. Number 2, go to pre-competition ritual. Have we ever talked about that? I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I'm not a big ritual person. I just find that like that just bogs you down into like if something goes wrong, you can kind of freak out and lose your mind. So I try to just roll with the punches and I have a few things of when I take different when I take my caffeine and that sort of stuff that's like not really a ritual. It's just kind of like science says do this now. But nothing like which sock I put on first or anything like that.
Okay. Number 3, I feel like we've touched on this maybe, but it could have changed. Dream race walk destination.
Ooh, the race in Paris is going to be like basically under the Eiffel Tower. I don't know how you beat that. I think that's pretty iconic.
That's okay. And have you raced there before?
No.
Okay, cool. So wait, you're going to be doing it for the first time in Paris?
Racing at
that location
course. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you would do like a...
our loops are like, we have like 1K loops. You go out 500 meters, you turn around, you go back 500 meters. There's not much to learn from being on on a course beforehand. It's not like a marathon or or anything where you actually gain information by being on the course before the actual race.
Okay, that's fair. No, that's new to me because I always thought that there was like an event that happened there prior, but I guess it's different for every sport.
I think they do have test events, but like usually like the test event might just be they'll have like a small French race, and the test event is more just to like make sure on the organizer's end that they know how everything works, rather than giving the athletes a chance to preview it.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Okay, cool. Number 4, best advice you've ever received. It's a hard one.
Yeah, maybe not so much receive, but like best advice that I wish I could have given myself when I was younger is that we don't define ourselves by winning and losing. That we define ourselves by how hard we push in pursuit of our goals.
Yeah. I like that. Very cool. Okay. Number 5, super random. I know there's like really one bit of equipment that's important to you, but do you have a favorite race walk equipment other than your shoes?
In Doha for the World Championships 2019, it was like stupid hot, and one of our cooling methods that we used was like little ice scarves that we would change out every time the ice melted. And so I walked into a Walmart type store in Doha, not the most liberal of places in the world, and found a pair of women's nylons. And had to go and ring those up and buy those, and we use those and shoelaces. And arts and crafts ourselves some ice neck scarves, and those are still the ones I use. They're just like literally just shoelaces tied around some nylons that we stuff with ice, and it's very, very third grade arts and crafts, but it works.
But are you racing with that on, or is that okay? So does that mess up? Does that mess anything up?
No, it's just, it keeps you cool. So we'll have every kilometer or 2 kilometers, depending on the loop, we can come by our personal aid station, and so I'll get like a new like an ice cold hat. So I'll have like 2 hats that we'll switch out. So like I'll come by, I'll throw off that, I'll take that scarf off, take my hat off, throw it to the side, get a new hat, new scarf, and like some drinks. Put the scarf on, zip it up, or tighten it up. And then put the hat on, and then you go for a couple K. The ice melts, you change it out again. So just like
I
a
like
good
that
way
you're
to
calling.
stay cool.
I like that you're calling a nylon a scarf.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an. I think it's like an ice pack. That's cool.
Essentially, yeah.
That's very cool. Okay. Number 6. What do you do in your free time right now? I mean, you're leading up to Paris. It's close around the corner. What are you doing in your free time?
So I'm coaching the.
Oh, did I lose you for a second there?
Sorry, had a call come in.
Love that.
Yeah, so I'm coaching the UBC track team. So
nice.
that's that, or the race walkers. So I got 5 race walkers there.
Yeah.
Doing a little bit of other coaching on the side. I'm on a couple of boards. So I'm on the board of the Richmond Food Bank. I'm on the board of our local kids sport chapter.
Yeah.
And then I'm the vice president of our local track club as well. So lots keeping me busy these days.
Classic athlete.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What
I'm
am
sure
I not doing?
Exactly. I'm sure we'll get more into that in the non-rapid fire.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I can't wait. Number 7, I have to just let you know that I didn't come up with these because I did my last series with ChatGPT. So I just pulled these quick off ChatGPT. And I don't know if this is a thing, but it could be a thing. Do you have a race walk idol growing up? Was there an idol?
Oh, growing up. Yeah, I mean, probably I'd say he like Jared Talent, Australian 4-time Olympic medalist, who now I consider a good friend and he's a coach now in Australia, so I get to see him all the time. But yeah, growing up, he was kind of like the guy that was you wanted to be like. You wanted to win medals like Jared won medals.
Very cool. Okay, I didn't know. Like, it's funny because I don't know all the other sports. I'm like, is this like a weird question to ask? Okay. Number 8, favorite post-race snack.
Oh, donuts, 100%. Good race, you get to celebrate with donuts. Bad race, you get to drown your misery in donuts. It's perfect for every occasion.
I guess you just walked super far. If you eat a donut, it's just gonna like go right out. Like it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
If I eat a donut,
I train so that I can eat donuts. It's really, this whole Olympics thing is just
donuts.
A sham cover to allow myself to eat more donuts.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, kids, get into race walking just so you can have donuts. Love that. Okay. Number 9, in one word, how would you describe your race walk style? In one word.
Efficient.
Efficient. I think that's right. Okay, number 10, the last one. I didn't know like style in snowboarding is a little different than race. I feel like, yeah, efficient. I would say fast. I've seen you and it's fast.
Because it's so efficient.
Yeah, that's true. They come with the other. Number 10, the last one of the rapid fire. What is your ultimate race walk goal?
Probably the same thing it's been since I was like 10 years old. Win gold medals and break world records.
Okay, well, that's a great lead into what we're about to talk about. Because I was just going through your Instagram and I was like, all right, so he's broken a lot of records. And then what's happening in Paris is the 50 is out. The 20 is still there. And now there's this mixed. But you've been breaking records in race walking in different increments, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So I now hold all but a couple of the Canadian records from 5K up to 50K, from 3K up to 50K. So, which is very exciting. I got the 20K Canadian record at Worlds last year, which was a long time coming. It was my first personal best in 9.5 years. In an event that I had really disliked for the last many years. It wasn't kind to me. And came across that line at 4th at Worlds, broke that Canadian record, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I can probably figure this 20K event out. And yeah.
I do want to touch on, you knew the 50 was going to be out. You got your bronze medal, which was so amazing to watch. And now you're trying to qualify for the 20. Are you also trying to qualify for the mixed? And how does the mixed work?
Yeah, so I have a teammate one of the girls that I'm coaching at UBC, Olivia Lundman.
Shout out
She's
Olivia.
hopefully going to be. We're hopefully we have one chance to qualify. So our world team championships are in the middle of April in Turkey.
Okay.
And so basically 22 teams will qualify for the Olympics at that race. And so the race is essentially, it's one male, one female. You alternate legs up to a marathon. So that's 42.195 kilometers is the distance for a marathon. So the first leg, so the men start, they do like a leg of somewhere around 12 kilometers. Women do a leg of 10K, men do a leg of 10K, and then women finish off with a leg of 10K. So
is it four different people?
No,
it's
so
just
two different
people.
Two. So you do two legs with like a 40 to 45 minute rest in between. Very strange. It's been really interesting. Like we started to see a few people do some and still trying to figure out like how you do that, like how you do two hard 45-minute efforts with a
huge break,
with like a 45-minute rest in between. So it'll be interesting.
Wait, have they run these? Have they run these before?
This is the first year that they've ever had. So like Pan Am's in October was like it. So and it wasn't the Olympic event until middle of last year. The whole thing's a mess. I mean, the IOC is a joke, and the whole thing's just ridiculous.
I mean,
that's a whole different.
We know why they're doing it. It's for equal women and men at the Olympics, right?
No, because they could have just added a women's 50K, like we had all petitioned for, and like World Athletics had allowed finally in 2017.
Right.
So this is the compromise that was made.
That they're bringing. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
The IOC wants to get rid of race walking
Oh.
because we're a free event that you don't charge. We don't require a big stadium, and you just show up on the side of the road to watch.
I mean, it is still really exciting to watch, though. I mean, that must be a challenge. So, are you strictly just training right now for the 20K, and that's like your bread and butter, and then like a cherry on top would be the mixed?
Yeah, essentially. The training would be the exact same, anyways, basically, because like
same distance.
From a physiology standpoint, there's not much change between those two. So it's not like the 50K that was a whole different training system. So we're hopeful. I mean, she's quite young, so the upside potential is huge. So we get in that race, and then once we're in the race, you never know. We got a chance to qualify.
Okay, and then my question is scheduling at the Olympics. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. Is the 20 before the mixed?
Yeah, so the 20 is on like day 0 of athletics. So athletics starts on August 2nd.
Okay.
But the 20K race walks are on August 1st. Okay. And then the relay is on a week later, on the 9th, I think.
Okay.
Which, so selfishly, like I don't really care about the relay. It's kind of a novelty event in my mind. I would love to qualify because I'd love for Olivia to get that Olympic experience that can, she can then lead that into LA and go into LA qualifying for her individual race and have and kind of know what's up, totally. It won't be this big scary thing. It'll be more comfortable and stuff. So from that element, but also from the selfish element of we have thanks to your work on the athlete commission side, we have 72 hours after our race before we have to leave, instead of the 48 hours it could have been. But still, for me, that means I'd have to leave like day 2 of athletics and not get to watch any of my teammates compete, Whereas
very
if we
different.
qualify for the relay, I
You get
then
to stay.
stick around and and watch my teammates compete and have a little bit more of that Olympic experience. So from a very selfish point of view, I'm really hoping that we qualify.
I do too.
And that's a non-zero reason why.
Yeah. It's super interesting. I like that you bring that point up. A lot of our listeners might not realize that Team Canada prior to COVID, athletes were able to stay till the closing ceremonies and cheer on Team Canada. But now and not many countries were allowed to actually do that. Like we were kind of an anomaly that we're allowed to do that. And I sit on the Canadian Olympic Committee Athletes Commission, and we fought really hard for it to not be a 48-hour turnaround, but we get one extra day for the Canadians. It has a lot to do with science and people getting sick, and also funding and safety, especially in Paris. And it also has to do with how many beds there are. It's in Paris. There's not much room, so lots of factors going into that. I like that you knew that. I was like, do athletes know that yet? Are they listening?
I think I mean, I don't know. I'm probably not a great barometer of of average athlete know-how with the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, no, but yeah, you
I've
know a lot.
yeah, yeah,
It's
and
pretty
I've been around for a very long time now, so
Yeah, totally. I mean, 3 Olympics, that's a lot.
it is, yeah. And I was there in London on sidelines watching, which is probably one of my more fun Olympic experiences. Not competing, but just being in London in 2012 as a spectator
I tell you.
was different and a lot of fun.
Did that put a fire under you to go, do you think?
That that was a catalyst for a lot of changes in my training and how I approach things. Just
Yeah.
standing on the sidelines, watching my teammate, your fellow athlete commission member, Iñaki Gomez.
Nike. Yeah.
Watching him from the sidelines sort of achieve his dream and see what it meant to him and all that stuff. Yeah, certainly helped act that catalyst of, okay, what do I need to change? How do I make sure in Rio I'm not on this side of the fence and I'm actually in that race?
Yeah.
And I almost didn't go. It was a Wednesday night. I was sitting at home and I had some friends that were trying to convince me to go, and I was like, ugh. So I looked at flights and it's like, oh crap, flights are like $600 to London, and so I booked a flight on the Wednesday night and I flew out Thursday morning and
Oh my gosh.
and spent 10 days in London watching the Olympics. So it was
That's
as someone
bold.
who's not a very impulsive person,
Yeah.
that was the a very impulsive decision that I made.
I completely respect that. I think that's bold and that's daring, and it's also like annoying. Being an athlete, being like, I'm going to watch, I'm not in it. I would be
Yeah,
like frustrated.
that's why I wasn't going to go. I was going to sit at home and sulk and be
Yeah.
be miserable. And then I was like, well, no, like Inaki, my teammate, like I should be there cheering him on. I should be there watching him. Like
Right.
that's the right thing to do. And so yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that for you. And then it got a fire under your butt, and then you were 4th, and then you got the medal, and now you're going again. Holy moly, like, okay, people ask me, they're like, 4 Olympics, that's a long time, and I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of life. That's a lot of life race walking, pal. Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, the part of why I'm on 3 different boards, and I forgot to mention my rapid fire. I'm back in school doing that Smith School of Business
Oh, yes.
business certificate that athletes
Mhm.
are lucky enough to have through Game Plan. Shout out to Game Plan,
Yeah,
helping athletes transition out of sport. And
yeah.
I don't know, I was setting myself up for all these like soft exits out of sport because I thought I'll maybe, the 20K, I'm not very good at 20K. Like I'll probably qualify for Paris, but like I won't do very well. And I kind of need to set up like the rest of, what life looks like and
Yeah.
stop caring about this as much. And then I went and finished 4th at World Championships and was like, oh, okay, I'm still fighting for medals. And now I have all these other things that I've committed to. And, it's a lot right now. There's a lot of life going on, and it's fun. I also got engaged last summer, so that was very exciting.
Wait, I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, thank
Congratulations.
you.
So
So that
exciting.
was
Oh, no, we
yeah,
talked about that. We talked about that at Athletes Camp for
right. Yes, yeah, and so yeah, there's just a lot of life happening right now. But
a lot of
I'm
life.
excited to, this will probably be my last Olympics.
I love that you say probably. I
Yeah,
feel
like
you. I feel you.
I can't see, but then it's like it's in LA, like it's like it's in the
It's
same
right
time
there.
zone. It's in the same time zone. Like how cool would that be? But
Yeah, yeah.
this will certainly be my last Olympics as a full time athlete.
Okay.
That I can 100% say.
Yeah.
Figuring out like where to go from here as a 30, how old am I? 30, 33, 33
Yeah.
year old with not much life experience outside of the sport.
Oh, come on now.
It's a little daunting.
I understand what you're saying there, but you have it's so crazy for listeners to understand that being an athlete, having that dedication, that grit, that perseverance, that self-motivation is something that everyone's looking for in a business. And when you actually go out into the real world, you're like, okay, people aren't working as hard as I am. What's going on here? It's super interesting to see. So I'm here for you, pal, if you need anything.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
wild world out there.
it's exciting too. It's like that transitional phase of life. It's exciting. It's daunting, but it's also really exciting.
Yeah, our it sounds like what you're saying is you've got your fingers in different pies, and I'm like, "Oh man, I feel you. That's exactly what I did."
Yeah.
But then I took it as going to my fourth games. Obviously, I was hurt and then really wanted to go again. And you just take it one day at a time. If you still love it, you got to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's 100% it, and it's so weird how different sports. So like my sport, so the 50K,
Mhm.
I could have kept going and been competitive into my early 40s.
Okay.
There's guys that are still we're setting like world record was set by a guy when he was like 37, I think.
Yeah.
Guys are still winning medals in their 40s, and so it's so wild to think that if the 50K was still around, how many more years this I'd have when I have friends who, went to the Olympics in 2012 as 20-year-old rhythmic gymnasts,
Yeah.
retired after that,
I
and have been
know.
retired from sport for 12 years now. And it's just like it's so wild how different these sports are.
It
and
is. Yeah.
and even in track, even within the sport of athletics, you have the difference between when a sprinter peaks and when a marathoner peaks. We have these amazing women in Natasha Wodak and Melindy Elmore who are setting Canadian records in the marathon in their 40s.
So rad.
It's wild. Melindy went to the Olympics in 2004 in
Mm.
in a totally different event, and then retired for a number of years, and now is back as a marathoner and finished ninth at the Olympics in Tokyo, and is going for that top 8 in Paris. It's so cool to see that, and to
Yeah.
have I look at people like Natasha and Melindy as huge inspirations of yeah, if you love it, you
Yeah.
can keep going into your 40s and still find success with it and fun with it. So
That's very cool.
that's why I can't say 100% that I won't be in LA.
For sure. For sure. So I have a question. The 50s out of the Olympics, but is race walking still running 50s, or is that just gone as well?
No, they pretty much just disappeared. There's just no incentive to
Wow.
do them. There's no you can only they take so much out of you.
Yeah.
And so if I would love to do another one, I would love to train for one and set one up, and I've kind of thought about my retirement race whenever that day comes, being I want to set up a 50K at home here in Richmond,
Yeah.
and just one more race to finish it off. I want to finish on a 50K because that's the event that
Yeah.
I love and all that. So that's kind of in the back of my head of adding race planning to to that list of things I'm trying to figure out one day in the future.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And so you said you're coaching at UBC. Are you enjoying that path?
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I don't know if it's gonna be where I end up, as a career. I don't think it'll be like the thing I do for my life. I love helping out a little bit on the side and that sort of thing. I've always really liked during the high school season working with different, teaching different high school athletes that are interested in race walking, like just giving them that little bit of knowledge and help to kind of start them on that path. But I don't know. It's hard to. I think I'll end up being in that like volunteer coach for 9 to 15-year-olds type of thing, rather than paid coach for elites type of a career trajectory in coaching.
It's super interesting because people are like, why don't you coach the national team? I'm like, honestly, we used to travel the world to like different places, and I really liked that. And now it's like all the same places, and I'm like, I'm not ready to go back there yet.
That's fair.
It's so funny. Life choices. The life is yours. The world is your oyster. You can eat all the donuts you want. I want to talk about just quickly the boards that you're sitting on. You said Richmond Food Bank as well as Kids Sport in your chapter. So do you want to like let people know a little bit more about Kids Sport before we go into the food bank?
Yeah. So Kids Sport has like the simplest mission imaginable. It's we want to make sure that the registration fees aren't a barrier to kids playing sport, and so we'll fund any kid in Richmond who has need for up to $600 a year in registration fees. So as long as they're playing, registering in a sport that's affiliated with Sport BC, and has a season that's longer than, I can't remember off the top of my head. It has to be like at least 8 weeks or 5, maybe even 5 weeks. I think it has to be at least like 5 weeks for it to count as a season. And then we take care of the registration fees. So it just helps break that financial barrier, which, for me, like I was so privileged. My parents had the ability to put me into any sport that I wanted to try. And I'm the person I am because of sport. I learned, all of the life lessons that I've learned, and all that growth has happened through sport. So the idea that there's kids out there that don't get that opportunity simply because of finances is sort of like, well, no, like that's not acceptable to me. And kids sport is an easy thing to get involved with because they're helping make sure that that's not a barrier.
100%. I agree. And I've been involved with Kids Sport for what seems like forever, just donating my time to help raise funds. And if anyone needs or wants to donate, definitely go to the Kids Sport website. I think it was like $250 helps fund a kid. That was a couple years ago.
Basically, like each chapter can sort of set their own limits, especially depending on like how many resources they have coming in. So right now we're seeing like the need is bigger than ever. Like Kids Sport Richmond, just 2023 was our biggest year by far ever in terms of the grants we gave out, and 2024 is already passing those numbers from January and February. So we're seeing that the need is huge right now, and we give out as much money as we have to give out. So every dollar certainly helps, and but at the same time, it's really the thing that this is the thing that I've learned being on these boards is that, and this makes total sense, is that like as the need gets higher, people's ability to help gets lower. Like these things are inversely related, and so that's been super interesting to sort of see. Okay, how do we cope with this? Because like people are struggling right now. Like things are tough, and that also affects people's ability to give.
Totally.
So it's trying to be creative and find new ways to bring new donations in, and not rely on the same people year after year with the same asks.
And you've been creative. You've been creative in raising funds for Kids Sport. Do you want to just touch on that real quickly?
Yeah. So using my silly little skill of walking fast, I've used that to help So in 2018, when Kids Sport was celebrating their 25th anniversary, I walked 25K a day for 25 days. And throughout the fall, spoke to 25 schools, sharing my story, talking about the importance of kids sport and what they do. And we raised about $26,000 through that. And
So cool.
and since then, still use the school talks. So whenever I do a school talk, we do them as a fundraiser for kids sport, so that the kids can sort of see that they're, if they bring in $1 or $2, if every kid in the school does that, that's going to help, a kid in, maybe a kid in their school get to play sport. And so the kids get to see that little impact that they make, if they all make it collectively, can have a big impact.
It's so important. You're a legend. You're a legend. You're a volunteering legend. And now, how did you get involved in the food bank in Richmond?
So I think because of my kind of people sort of seeing that I'm out there trying to do good things. I was approached by the food bank and sort of said, "Hey, we have some openings on the board," and asked if I'd like to join. And so it's been a really interesting, that's been fascinating to see and to go in and volunteer and sort of get to see how the food bank operates and just the amazing work that they're doing and the amount of, again, they're breaking all their records for how many families they're helping and how many families are in need and all this stuff. But it's incredible to see just the community come together to help that. I mean, it's something like every dollar that's donated to the food bank, they're able to use that to get like $5 worth of food or something like that. Like just their buying power and save on foods, the amount that they, send truckloads of food each week. And Richmond's really lucky. We have a Walmart that helps out and a Costco. And so we have all these big chains that are able to help as well. And so it's cool to see that, but it's sad to see, how much need there is and that. So anything I can do in my little little world to help that is worth doing.
It's so awesome. And I said in your bio, I'm like, I can't say enough for how much you give back. And you are so community orientated as well as sport orientated. Richmond is very lucky to have you. And so is Team Canada. Remind us of the date that you will be qualifying. You said there's only one day to qualify, right?
Yeah. So our team championships are on April 21st in Turkey. 21st. So it's coming up fairly quickly here. So it's exciting. It's
so exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. You just keep walking for those donuts and inspiring everyone else to volunteer in their own communities, which I give a huge shout out to as well. Like, definitely go do that if you guys have time. Listeners, watchers, it's always great to give back to your communities. It's so important. Evan, thank you so much. Where can people find you online?
Twitter, Instagram, @Evan Dunfee. I think that's about it. I don't have a TikTok or anything like that. There's only so many videos of me race walking that you can. It's not the most engaging of sports in that way. So
so awesome.
Yeah, big on Twitter. But yeah, those are the main places that people can find me.
I know we didn't even talk about Twitter. Are you feeling like I'm not on it that much anymore? I can't get my news. Like in Canada, it's challenging. I would get all my news on Twitter, and now that's a law that's been passed that legislation's not allowed to have that. So you're still vocal on it.
Yeah, less so than I used to be, and certainly, would love to not be as addicted to it as I am. But
I know.
Yeah, that's we can work on that. That can be part of my my growth for the next time that we chat.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for dropping in today. I really appreciate you and wish you all the best of luck.
Thanks, Mercedes.
All right, you guys can follow Dropping In on Facebook and Instagram, and you can subscribe on YouTube and check out the website, droppinginwithmercedes.com. See you next time. For dropping in today. You can find everything you want to know about Dropping In with Mercedes at droppinginwithmercedes.com. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks DJ Kenosis for the music and my mom for the intro voice.